What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Cdpodcast. I am Darcage.
I'm Shelby.
We have a special guest today. My brother, who hasn't seen Power Rangers in like 15 years, actually watched it this weekend.
What's going on? My name's Garron.
Basically, we're just here to talk about Power Rangers stuff. We just recorded the episode. It was a little longer than last week, but that's okay, because it's a podcast. Go ahead and put your headphones on, surf the internet, put this in the background, just listen to us ramble. We talked about Toqger stuff, Garron being out of the game for a long time, and we finished off with episode 2, Super Mega Force. So go, listen to it, enjoy. I guess we can just explain it to you, Garron.
Yeah, pretty much.
What it is. So the new season of Sentai is Ressha Sentai Toqger. Or just Toqger is what most people call it. And it is entirely based off the theme of trains and train enthusiasts. If you can kind of wrap your head around that for a second.
Is this one that you were telling me about?
Yeah, remember probably about a month ago now, I showed you the new suit designs for the upcoming Power Ranger season.
Mm-hmm.
And they had looked like gel bars on their face.
And he was probably whining about it.
Okay, in my defense, everybody was.
Except me.
Everybody in the Toku fandom was.
No.
Yes.
Apparently I'm not everybody.
You were complaining too.
I was complaining that you were complaining. I didn't dislike the suits.
Okay, fine. So you were one of a minute group who wasn't complaining about the suit designs. But, like every year in Toku, we complained for a little bit, and we just got fucking used to it. Because now, I'm actually not that, I don't know, I don't think they're that bad. I really like the Green Ranger suit, just because that shade of green that they used is almost like a chartreuse green. So it's very vibrant. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. So, it is entirely based around trains, but that's just like one part of the theme. The other part of the theme is imagination. So it's all about, like, based on their imaginative abilities, they become stronger, basically. So if you can dream it, you can do it, like that kind of thing. Old Saturday morning
anything
cartoon thing.
You believe it can be. Which
is funny because this is for Shelby. As we were watching that, you know what I was thinking the entire time? Everybody was bitching and complaining about the Akiba Ranger concept not being an official Sentai series. Isn't this kind of the same thing?
It is. I thought of that in the middle of it. Oh my gosh. I was like, this is exactly like the Delusions.
Yeah,
it's
the only difference is it's actually happening. I mean, they still have to, like, dream up all their stuff, like the Pink Ranger in the first episode, or the Pink Toqger, don't want to see Ranger. She did this thing where she held out her weapon, and the enemies, everyone calls them mooks, but I think that's just like a general term for the grunts in a Sentai series. I don't know if we actually have.
They're called kuros in this one.
Just blacks?
Yeah.
Isn't Kuro black?
I mean, it's just kuros. That's what they call them. They're the foot soldiers.
That's racist.
I didn't think of the name.
I'm not saying you're racist, I'm just saying the name's racist.
Well, it's all based off of, like, the colors.
Anyway,
and the numbers.
So, Garron, you having watched Mega Force, or Super Mega Force, this weekend, which is basically Kaiser Go Sentai Go Kaiser. Their foot soldiers are like those silver guys, like the big square looking heads.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Toqger, they're all kind of like 1930s gangster looking. So they have like big long coats and fedoras on.
They're badass.
That's what their putties look like. So the Pink Ranger holds out her weapon, and through her ability, like, she's like probably the one that has the most imagination out of the team. I mean, I don't want to say that because supposedly the Red Ranger is like are the Red Toqgers the king of imagination. But she was the only one I saw use her power in a pretty unique way, where they came running at her, she held her, I think it's like a bridge, because they look like scaffolding on a bridge with little claws, and they ran into them, but then got really, really tiny. And then she just started, like, poking them when they were on the ground. Yeah, and they were just, like, sparking, like, tiny little sparks. She
just kind of bopped them on the head, and they went away. It was really cute.
So it's train-themed, imagination-themed, and color-themed. So...
And numbers.
Well, it's not really numbers. It's numbers in the sense of they work with the whole pun that they're using.
Yeah.
So...
Ichigo, Nigo, Sango, Yongo, Ogo.
So, with Toqger, all those are kind of wrapped up into one. And the biggest, I guess, unique gimmick we have is a color swapping ability. So in the first episode, you see the Red Toqger take Pink's Ressha, and the Ressha are like these little tiny trains that they use to morph. They put them in their wrist.
It's like the keys in Power Rangers.
Yeah, okay, so they put them in their little wrist bracer and they morph that way, but if they take them out of other Rangers' morphers and put them into theirs, they'll swap colors. So Red can become any color he wants as long as he switches out the Ressha. So that's the other big gimmick we have this year.
But instead of politely asking and saying, hey, can I borrow this? They're just like, give me that. Here, take this.
Yeah. To the point where, like, I want to call him it's their leader, but the conductor of the train.
Yeah.
Like, they were switching so much to the point where he just got fed up with it and flipped the switch on the train and reversed everybody back to the color they were supposed to be.
They all switched their colors so much that everyone was confused, and they were like, I don't know who's who. And the conductor's all, okay, guys, stop changing your colors all willy-nilly, and hits a switch, and they all go back.
I guess we should kind of cover why we're talking to Garron like he is a child. So if you want to tell them kind of what your Power Ranger background is, like how long you've watched it or whatever, it'll probably give them an idea as to why we're kind of talking to you like that.
I mean, I think the last time I really sat down and watched anything Power Rangers, I think it was the very first Power Rangers movie with like Kimberly and Tommy and all that. I don't even remember when that was.
So my brother, who's Garron, who is a huge video game nerd, huge sports fanatic, I made sit down and watch Power Rangers Super Mega Force. It was the first time he's watched Power Rangers in 15 years.
And he's never seen Sentai ever, right?
He has never... I mean, he's like walked in when I'm watching it, you know, or when I'm watching Kamen Rider or something like that, but I don't think he's ever actually sat down and watched Power Rangers or Sentai or anything like that in a very long time.
Sentai really is a different ballgame, especially with this season, because it's really confusing. Like,
and that's the thing. That's the kind of the reason why I wanted to have him introduce like his background in Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Because this season is it's not a huge difference as far as like overall, but this season is a lot different than the last few seasons. Just because everything happens so fast.
Yeah. They've already got their blaster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm used to them morphing like once, and like when I was watching it, I was just like, what's going on? Like, they morphed like 5 times. I was like, it's crazy.
This one, well, okay, let's wrap up Toqger. So this week on Toqger, it was the first episode. We were introduced to the characters. As of recording this, the second episode already aired. Mm-hmm. So we're a week behind. But so this episode, we get introduced into the cast and the 5 main Sentai heroes for this season. And then we also got a bunch of other stuff. Like, we got a bunch of background on the characters. We got basically the overarching goal for the evil empire in this season.
The villains are gorgeous.
The villains are amazing. All of like, as bad as the Toqger suit design was at the beginning, that's how good the villain designs were. So it really just kind of shifted to the villains. Like, I really love the feel of the villains and the shadow line.
They're so pretty.
So we got characters, personality for characters, explanation of characters' goal, villains, explanations for villains' goal. We got the team blaster, the team cannon. We got the individual weapons and then the team cannon. We got the color swapping gimmick. We got
Mecha.
The mech, the transformation sequence for the mech. It was a lot in one episode. So for Garen, since you don't know Sentai, these are called tropes, and like they happen in every season. This process usually takes anywhere from 1 to 4 episodes to get all of these questions answered. And this is one of the few Sentais that just done it all in one episode.
One thing that's not a trope that they did, they had their little the pass thing they did to get onto their trade mech. Mm-hmm. Whatever that was.
Well, it's like see, that's where the breakdown happens, in my opinion, between cultures. Because being in America, we are a very car-dependent society. Unless you live in, like, New York or Chicago, where they have, like, really popular train systems. But Japan rely on their trains for a lot of transportation. So they're growing up taking trains, and, having a train pass is just like having an ID. So that, I feel, will go... I don't want to say it'll go over a lot of Western viewers' heads, but it's one of those things where it's definitely unique to Japan. Because that's what it was. It was like a security gate at a train station. You have to scan your pass over the thing, and then it allows you to get on the train. For people who don't really watch Sentai or don't really watch anime or anything Japanese culture related, that's just going to it's not going to hit as hard as it does for people who are familiar to that kind of thing.
And then there were those few things that explained stuff that were always kind of annoying about Sentai, like, why did the enemies always stop and wait for them to transform? It was, don't cross the white line.
Yeah, that was cool.
You remember that?
Yeah, I got a laugh out of that. Where it's like they finally, as cute and silly as it was, they finally addressed why they don't attack while they're transforming.
It was awesome.
Alright, well anyway, so overall for Toqger, I'm going to say it was better than I expected.
I think it was really cute. It's wacky and adorable. I'm excited about the rest of the season, how it's going to go. It's probably going to kind of sort of, I guess, taper out, like maybe get a little more serious, possibly. Mm-hmm. And
Ressha Sentai Toqger.
Yeah, it's kind of like Deno. I'm looking forward to it.
Kamen Rider Toqger. Alright, so I'm just gonna say it was a lot better than I expected. Suits are growing on me. The theme of the show is growing on me, and I'm excited to see the next episode. Alright, well, to the reason why everyone is actually here. It's the whole reason why our show is called Mega Time.
Power Rangers Megaforce!
So, today was the second episode of Super Megaforce. And for somebody coming in like Garen, I feel sorry for having to read the ridiculous name of the show to him. Power Rangers Super Megaforce. So, since you are new, I want to hear what you thought of the episode. Coming in completely cold, not even watching the first episode of Super Megaforce. just jumping straight into the second. I want to see what you were lost on, what you liked, what you didn't like.
Oh, you didn't see the first one?
No, I didn't want him to watch it.
Oh, awesome.
So, I mean, when I jumped in, I guess the alien invasion had already happened.
Yeah.
So I was kind of lost. Like, well, when did this start? Did it just like come out of nowhere? Because when you sent me the video, I thought it was going to be the first one.
Well, see, that's a yes and a no, because in Power Rangers, there was explanation as to why the Armada attacked. But in Gokaiger, the source footage for Super Mega Force, or some of the source footage for Super Mega Force, it starts off with the Armada already happening. So there's really no explanation other than it's in the fucking way. Like, Earth is in the way of this pirate Armada, and they're just going to destroy the planet. If I'm wrong, comment in the section below and tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not claiming to know it all.
For me, I mean, the main bad guy, not the guy that was on the ship, but the one that was getting ready to shoot the missiles off. I don't think I ever caught his name, but he reminded me kind of Lord Zed, pretty much. I mean,
the one that was on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the monster of the week.
Yeah, he reminded me of Lord Zed a lot. I don't know, just kind of the way he looked and the way he acted was kind of the same way Lord Zed used to act, as far as I remember. I mean, it was pretty strange when they were like, oh my god, they just keep coming and coming. And they were like being like let go off of like these giant magnets that you see pick cars up with.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, they don't have like spaceships anymore? They just like stick them to magnets?
Well, they do, but the foot soldiers aren't like piloting spaceships. Because I know in, what was it, Turbo, when the Machine Empire attacked, their grunts piloted spaceships.
I think these grunts are just mindless. These ones are...
Yeah, they're just basically attack bots. Like, they're just drones.
My thing was like, back when I used to watch it, it was a lot of hand-to-hand combat. I mean, you still see it quite a bit. The thing that I really don't like about the show is that they use like the blasters a lot, that I noticed.
That's kind of Gokaiger. I'm assuming you're talking about when they were in suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with Gokaiger is, in Japan, the source footage, they weren't really heroes. Like, they were technically heroes, but they were anti-heroes. So, the only reason why, at the beginning of the series, they were protecting Earth was because it was in their own benefit. And with them being pirates, gunplay is a huge part of them being pirates. That's why their guns look like old school black powder guns. Yeah,
their guns were their main weapon, and so that's what they use on the bad guys. And I think Doc has a different weapon, right? They have their swords too.
They have sabers and guns. I don't think Gokaiger actually had individual weapons, did they? I think they all just used the sword and gun the entire season.
Maybe. For some reason, I think Doc had an axe or something. But maybe I'm recalling... I'm thinking of when they switch.
The
because,
Go On change?
Yeah.
It's funny. We're that same guy is going to comment saying that we forget a shit ton of stuff again. Because on our first...
Please don't.
Our first podcast... I think it's funny because I forget a whole ton of stuff. I'm like a fucking goldfish. So for someone to actually point that out, I thought was fucking hilarious.
So another thing that had me confused is I was watching the fight scene, and it was right after they morphed. And next thing I know, I see a Black Ranger come flying in, and I'm like, well, where did that come from? I mean, I seen blue, red, green, yellow, and pink. And I was like, where did the black one come from? So, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how she changed the color, because I think you said she needed like another person's key to change color or something like that. Okay, so the gimmick for... Okay, so the first season of Megaforce, they used source footage from a Sentai called Goseiger, which at the beginning of the episode when they first morphed, you know that big face they pulled out? They opened his mouth, put a card in, and shut it? Okay, so that's Goseiger, and that's the Megaforce team.
the problem with Ghost Age is it didn't do too well in Japan. So what they did was they kind of consolidated the episodes that they wanted to use, which ended up being like, I don't know, 20 episodes or something, and made that Megaforce Season 1. And then Season 2, Super Megaforce uses source footage from Gokaiger. And Gokaiger in Japan was the 30th anniversary special. So there was a ton of footage of them going and meeting old past Rangers that America never saw. So they had to kind of cut all that out, consolidate, and then it became the second half of Megaforce. So the multiple morphings come in from Gokaiger's gimmick. And Gokaiger's gimmick was using their Mobiritz, their cell phone thing, with a Ranger key. They stick it in, turn it, and they transform into one of 30 Rangers from the past.
So they can change into Rangers from any season, basically.
Exactly. So what you saw was the pink Megaforce Ranger turning into the black, not Go-Ranger, what's RPM Ranger. So I could see. It's funny you had so much confusion with it, because when Shelby and I were watching the episode, she was like, I don't know how anybody's going to keep up with this. Like, as far as kids and the writing staff and everybody, it's just there's so much going on, there's so much switching back and forth, that it's hard to keep what's what straight unless you know exactly where the source footage is coming from, exactly what happened in Gokaiger. Like, Shelby and I and everyone else in the Toku fandom doesn't really get an accurate depiction of, well, does this make sense? Because we are already 3 steps ahead of Power Rangers because we watched the Sentai series that came before it. So we kind of know where they're trying to go with it. So it's interesting to see someone fresh coming in and be like, I have no fucking idea what's going on.
The only reason I have any clue, oh, that's actually the Pink Ranger in a black suit, is because, I knew, oh, that's from Sentai. Like, otherwise I would have been exactly like, why the hell is she in a black, why is she suddenly, I don't get it, why? And, exactly like Garrett said, suddenly, because he didn't see the first episode, suddenly the Black Ranger, Jake, is green. And that's because of Gokaiger.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're super familiar with Power Rangers, Garen, but sometimes we'll have seasons where there's a Black Ranger, sometimes we'll have seasons where there's a Green Ranger, sometimes we'll have seasons where there's a Black and Green Ranger. But Black and Green, for the most part, are interchangeable.
And I remember seeing the Green Ranger, and he was like the badass Ranger when I watched it.
Yeah, in Mighty Morphin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to come back for this season. He's going to be one of the legendary Rangers that comes back to help the new team.
The same guy?
Yeah, Jason David Frank.
That's pretty cool.
If you go to the YouTube channel Bat in the Sun, he started his reality show on that channel called My Morphin Life. And it's kind of... The first few episodes are just kind of him in his everyday life, but he shot a lot of footage behind the scenes of Super Megaforce. Like his costume sizings and his helmet sizings and all that stuff, so he can eventually come back on the show. And I don't know if you know, but Jason David Frank has been his own team of Power Rangers. So when you watched it, he was green. You know that.
Yeah, I remember he was white.
He was white. Then from there he was red. He was the red Zeo Ranger. He was the red Turbo Ranger for a little bit before he gave up his powers to TJ. After that he became the black Dino Ranger in Dino Thunder. So he's been 5, is that right? 5 different Rangers?
Black, green, white, red.
And red.
4.
No, he's been Zeo Red and Turbo Red.
So 2 reds count. Okay.
Well,
5.
yeah, I mean, I didn't say that they would make sense as a team. I'm just saying the number of Rangers he's played as a full team. So, I mean, he's been around quite a bit. And now he's coming back, and I think he's coming back as green and white in Super Megaforce.
It would be pretty awesome to see him come back.
JDF is so cool.
He's gonna be here this year. I'm stoked. He's gonna be here for Comic-Con.
He's tall and scary looking.
It's because he's an MMA fighter now.
He's always eating something. Not to be like mean, but every time we would walk past the table, he had like a protein bar in his hand.
He's got to get them calories, man.
Yeah,
he's training
it's like
to fight
constantly. It's so weird. Like, not that he's weird, but it's just strange.
So, what did you think of the episode, Shelby?
I thought Troy was brooding a little too much.
Oh my god, I'm so tired.
You know...
I'm so tired of him.
Was that the guy that was on the beach?
Yes.
Yeah, that was our Red Ranger.
He has been on the beach the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, I don't think he slept or anything.
Well, I mean, he was looking for his buddy.
His buddy?
His robot ranger.
This isn't Go Buster, right? He doesn't have a buddy roid.
Aww.
It was like,
too soon? Is that too soon?
That made me sad.
He's just getting on my nerves.
You know, and then, like, he's in the warehouse and he's following the bad guys, which, by the way, to a certain extent, that's a stupid idea. Like, hasn't he seen TV ever? But he's following the bad guys, and then he sees the timer set, right?
Mm-hmm. And
at a certain point, you've got to be thinking, okay, that timer says 2 hours. I better get the hell out of here.
No. Instead,
no, he stays there for long enough.
For an hour and 40 minutes.
Because well, yeah, that's after he gets attacked. But,
when
like,
they cut back, it was like 20 minutes. He stays there long enough for his morpher to go off. I mean, it's a solid, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then his morpher dings. Mm-hmm. I mean, for Megaforce, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
I appreciate the fact that they have multiple tiers of power, like from Megaforce to Super Megaforce or Legendary Mode, whatever they call it. I just don't understand why they're still using the Tensoder to transform into the Megaforce Rangers. You
reminded me of a thing. That's something else. I dislike the fact that they're having to go from Megaforce to their Super Mega mode. Mm-hmm. Why can't they just go straight to Super Mega mode? Because you saw the struggle when they were in their Megaforce form.
Yeah.
Which is Ghostager. And then they went into their Super Mega form, and then it got a little easier, but they were still struggling because they were outnumbered. And then they went into what they call Legendary, which is the other keys.
Yeah.
Like, why do they have to... Like, why can't they just use the Gokai suits, the Super Mega? Like, why do you have to transform 3 times?
I mean, I can understand from a power up, because it's not technically a whole new morpher / suit. You know, it's like going from Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 2. You know, so I understand that there's a process that they have to go through to get to Super Mega Force. What I don't understand is, now that they are Super Mega Force, aren't they technically considered a legendary team? So why can't they just use the Ghostager keys and the Mobiris to transform into the Mega Force Rangers?
That's clever. That is an interesting question.
Well, I know that when they went to the highest one that they morphed into, like the Mega one, that giant head thing on the wall said you just unlocked this new power. So I mean, they had to have used it to unlock it. I mean,
well, what he was talking about was, you know, the suits they transformed into right after he said that.
Yeah,
the ones with the white chest. That is Die Ranger. That has never been seen to the American audience before today, or before yesterday. So when he says you have unlocked a new power never seen on this earth before, he's referring to the Die Ranger suits that the White Ranger came from. Because in Season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, all they did was take the White Ranger out of Die Ranger and transplant him into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers while leaving those 5 suits back with Toei. So that whole thing of these new powers you've never seen before. That's what he's referring to, is these suits that have never made American air. Here they are. Go. It's just
Okay.
it was a source footage thing. You know, they had to use the source footage, so they came up. I thought they were going to do a lot better than they did. I was kind of disappointed. Like, I was stoked that it's in the Power Rangers universe now. The Dire Ranger suits are there. They're a real thing. I just wish they would have gave it like one, maybe 2 lines of dialogue to explain it. Not just
They half explained it the way you wanted to.
Yeah. That there are Power Rangers on different planets. Because we know that. That's a fact. In the Power Rangers universe, there are multiple Rangers on different planets. Aquatar, Trey of Triforia.
When did that happen?
Okay, so the Aquatar Rangers came in in season 3 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, when the Power Rangers were turned into kids.
I think I had already stopped watching it by then.
There was like maybe like a 16 episode stretch of Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. So you know when they got like the ninja shit,
Mm-hmm.
and they got all that Ninja Megazord and stuff. All that was pulled from a series called Kaku Ranger in Japan. But they didn't pull any of the suits with it, any of the Power Ranger suits. They only pulled the mechs. So the way to explain the source footage of these Rangers that don't exist in America is to write it into the story. You know, our Power Rangers get turned into kids, lose the ability to morph, so Zordon calls in a new team of Rangers from a different planet to take over while they're trying to figure out what's wrong with our team. And that is the way they explained all of the source footage fighting that had the Kaku Ranger suits in it. So that in itself proves that there are Power Rangers that exist on other planets. If there are Power Rangers that exist on Aquatar, you know, and Trey of Triforia exists, and Shadow Ranger and all those other guys, you know, what's to say that there aren't more Rangers on different planets that we just haven't seen yet?
Right, so you just wanted more of an explanation, like what kind of planet. You wanted a little more story. Is that what you're saying?
Just a line or two. Like, it was perfect with these are powers you've never seen before, these are powers you've never seen on this Earth before. They are the... Popular opinion is Star Force Rangers. Whatever. Die Ranger had a bunch of shit to do with constellations. You know, that makes sense. They're the Star Force Rangers from Saturn. Whatever.
Saturn. I like Saturn.
Pluto!
Make it Pluto. Oh my god, Pluto.
Beggars can't be choosers, and I understand that. I was begging for Die Ranger suits to be in the Power Rangers universe. We got that. I'm happy. I'm just happy that they're there. The only thing I'm not happy with is they are now called the New Power Team.
I mean, they're gonna get more and more suits to wear, and it's going to be madness eventually.
Well, we have one more, at least from what I can recall, one more shot with the Die Ranger team. After the Silver Ranger joins, they do an entire team transformation into Die Ranger with Kiba Ranger, with the White Ranger, on the team. So I'm hoping that they do something where, since Zordon created the White Ranger from his own power, they explain the rest of the suits that kind of match his same gimmick, his belt buckle and everything, they all match, as these are the other Power Rangers from Eltar, the home planet of Zordon, the original mentor. Something like that. Just a little nugget, a little nod to the fans. I think that would be awesome.
Can I just point out that your American accent when you say Kaku Ranger is really vulgar?
Really? I'm not Japanese.
It sounds funny when you say it.
I'm sorry, weeb. I'm not fucking Japanese.
I know you're not. Every time you say it, I get...
Hey, it's the same way when white people say jalapeno or jalapeno.
Canadians.
Or tortilla.
Jalapeno.
Yeah, or tortilla.
No.
Tortillas. You'll make me some of them tortillas.
Quesadilla.
Quesadillas.
Let me get some of that pico de gallo.
Oh my gosh, what was that?
Americans can't grasp the idea of the double L making the Y sound. So they wanted to pronounce the double L.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was definitely interesting, to say the least. The difference between from when I used to watch it when I was a kid until now, it's changed quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. And you've only watched Saban stuff. You didn't really watch any of the Disney stuff. That's how long he's been out of the game. Was he he started with Saban, and now he's back to Saban, just kind of ignoring the entire arc that happened in between with Disney.
I'm curious what's going to happen with Robo Knight.
Oh god, I don't fucking care.
That was the dude's buddy he was waiting for,
I
man.
don't give a shit.
But they keep going back. Like, that's who he's looking for. I know
they're gonna do something completely fucking stupid.
I know.
Because
that's why I'm interested.
The one thing that I recall from Gokaiger is they never explained how Guy got his powers. He said he got them. He was a huge fan of Sentai, and all of a sudden he had his powers. I have a feeling that's
imagination.
Well, I have a feeling that's where they filled the hole. Is Robo Knight built the fucking morpher out of himself. He only had enough power to give somebody the power to transform. So what he did is he built the morpher and a key out of himself, and that is what's left of Robo Knight is the Silver Megaforce Ranger. That's just my theory.
I like your theory, but I almost feel like Saban's not that smart.
I should go right for Power Rangers. That's it. Garen, pack the bags. We're going to California.
We're blowing this popsicle stand.
Yep. We're going to take over Power Rangers. We're going to hire nothing but MMA fighters to be the Rangers.
Hey. I'm a Ranger. Let me be a Ranger.
I want The Rock to be the Black Ranger.
Yep.
Dude.
That is the largest spandex suit I have ever seen in my life.
The Rock, Vin Diesel. It'd be hilarious.
Is it getting moist in here? Or is it just me?
I think it's just you.
I don't know. All in all, the episode was alright. I mean, I liked it. I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than Megaforce. The only thing that's still kind of giving me a bit of culture shock is the drastic personality changes. Because Troy, the Red Ranger, was mopey and all that shit until he morphed into Super Megaforce. Which was Captain Marvelous. And Captain Marvelous was just a cocky pirate. So Troy's voice kind of has to match those movements. So it's just, it's almost like he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde right now.
There's a point in the show that Troy laughed and you freaked.
It freaked me out.
He was like, "Oh my god!"
It wasn't like a. It wasn't like that. It was like a like just a creepy,
almost maniacal.
Yeah, and it was just like a brief little giggle, and I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck was that?" He just killed that guy, and he fucking chuckled. I don't know. It was weird. Everyone else seems to be falling in. The only one I wish they would swap was Noah and Jake. Because I think Jake would have been a better Joe than Noah.
Yeah. They're trying to make Jake a little more goofy with the whole yogurt suit.
Which I think is actually working.
It's cute.
Because I think he can actually be the physical type of funny that Doc was.
Mm-hmm.
We just need two Jakes. We don't need Noah. I like Noah, but we don't need him. Is that fucked up? That is fucked up, huh?
That is kind of fucked up.
How dare you, sir?
I mean, I don't... Okay, so move Noah to Red Ranger.
There you go.
Get fucking Troy out of there. I don't fucking care about Troy in his fucking leather jacket. And then we'll just clone Jake. And Jake will be black and green. Perfect. I solved
Jake twins? Is that what you're proposing?
Yes. Double your pleasure, double your fun. So what did you think of episode 2?
Me?
Yeah.
You already asked me that question.
I know, but I was talking. Overall, just to recap.
I liked the in-suit personalities more than out-of-suit because we didn't get to see a lot of them talking to each other. The fact that they're rebuilding the mall, like the overall theme of everyone together, it's a big Power Rangers trope, but I still love it. The theme that, Earth always prevails. What was it on the sign? It said,
Earth fights back.
Earth fights back.
It was the name of the episode.
And that was the overall message. That ending scene where they pummeled all of the ships at the end, and then...
How out of character was that for Power Rangers, though? To take the initiative and take the fight to them? Like, usually they wait for Monster of the Week, like, every week.
But it was cool.
It was cool. It was different. That wasn't Power Rangers that I knew. At least not this generation of Power Rangers.
I liked it, though.
I also like the ship stuff. Like, I know that was a Gokaiger thing.
The shots with the... What did you call that thing?
The sky ship.
Yes, the sky ship. But they were physically on the ship.
Oh, the crow's nest?
Yes, the crow's nest. Thank you. Those shots were beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see more of those, and gosh, I want to see a set of inside the ship.
That would be cool. What if they just completely remake the interior from Gokaiger?
That would be awesome. That would be amazing.
So cool.
Even if they make it their own,
Are we gonna get a Navi?
No, we already have a Tenso. We're not gonna get a Navi.
Fuck Tenso.
We wouldn't be so lucky. If we were, though, that would be great. But
what if he shows up with the Silver Ranger? Like, that was his mentor.
Aww.
He's like, Navi was the reason the Silver Ranger met up with the current team.
I missed Navi. Now I want to watch Gokaiger. Navi was a little bird that was on
It was a robot bird.
Gokaiger.
So you guys are showing affection to him, but not to the guy's robot.
That robot's a dick.
Navi had a personality, and it was a parrot.
He was a dick, and he sounds like RoboCop.
RoboKnight is RoboCop.
Only RoboCop can sound like RoboCop. God damn it!
Hey, I'm not being mean to RoboKnight.
I just don't like him. I think he's pointless. To me, I don't know. He's like Sentinel Knight to me. In Operation Overdrive. I just don't care. Kinda how I was with the Buddy Roids in Go Buster.
I love the Buddy Roids.
I'm racist against robots.
Jeez, you are. What's your problem?
I don't know. I like the...
Robots have feelings too, oh my god.
Says who? Do they dream of electric sheep? Exactly.
No, they dream of real things.
I like Gorosaki Gorilla. I thought he was really cool.
Is that because he's a gorilla?
Yeah. I like gorillas. Is that weird? Is that
It's because he's a primate. Because he's modeled after a primate.
Because he's basically human?
Yeah. What's your issue? I think we're rambling.
I don't know. I like... Yeah, we are a little bit. I like robots in the Japanese stuff. I just don't like the fucking American robots. They make them sound so fucking stupid. Just like fucking what's-his-face from this season. The little Wally ripoff. Tenso. I can't stand his voice.
I keep saying it wrong. They say Tensu.
They don't fucking... He doesn't add to the story at all. Even Ghostade's getting on my fucking nerves. You know what they need to do? Another Zeo Ranger arc where they just destroy him. That's what
wow.
Oh, I'm pissed now.
Oh shit, watch out.
I'm just kidding. I'm gonna get so much hate. I'm just playing. I'm just messing around. Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap up. That was that. Alright guys, thanks for joining us for the second episode of CD Podcast. We kind of rambled a little bit at the end, but that's what we're here for. We're here to talk. Discuss Toku stuff. My name is Eric, aka Darcage.
I'm Shelby.
And our special guest.
My name is Garen.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.